Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are re-diving into a topic that has reshaped our world in ways we are still trying to understand. The massive economic shock of the COVID-19 pandemic and the rocky road to recovery. It feels like just yesterday, but it's been a few years since the world seemingly hit the pause button. Remember that? Streets were empty, businesses closed their doors, and for a brief, surreal moment, the global economy ground to a halt. It was an unprecedented global health crisis that triggered an equally unprecedented economic one. Let's rewind a bit. When the pandemic first hit, governments around the world faced an impossible choice: protect public health or protect the economy. The answer, for most, was to implement lockdowns. These weren't just suggestions to stay home. They were mandatory shutdowns of what we call non-essential businesses. Restaurants, cinemas, gyms, retail, stores, entire sectors of our economy went dark overnight. The goal was to flatten the curve, to slow the spread of the virus, and prevent healthcare systems from collapsing. It was a necessary public health measure, but the economic consequences were immediate and brutal. The most visible impact was on the job market. Millions of people lost their jobs in a matter of weeks. We saw unemployment rates skyrocket to levels not seen since the Great Depression. Think about the ripple effects. A closed restaurant doesn't just affect the owners and the chefs. It affects the servers, the dishwashers, the suppliers who provide the food, the farmers who grow it, the truck drivers who deliver it. The entire supply chain was disrupted. This wasn't a typical recession that builds over time. It was like an economic switch being flipped off. The service industry, which relies on face-to-face interaction, was hit the hardest. Hospitality, travel, and tourism simply evaporated. Airlines grounded their fleets, hotels were empty, and tourist hotspots became ghost towns. In response to this freefall, governments and central banks stepped in with massive stimulus packages. We're talking trillions of dollars pumped into the global economy. This support came in many forms. There were direct payments to individuals to help them pay rent and buy groceries. There were enhanced unemployment benefits to cushion the blow of job loss. And for businesses, there were programs like the Paycheck Protection Program in the U.S. It's designed to help them keep employees on the payroll even when their doors were closed. Central banks like the Federal Reserve slashed interest rates to near zero and bought up massive amounts of government bonds to keep credit flowing and prevent a financial market meltdown. It was a strategy of whatever it takes to build a bridge over the economic chasm created by the lockdowns. These measures were a lifeline for many, preventing an even deeper economic depression. As we started to adapt, with vaccines rolling out and a better understanding of the virus, economies began to reopen. But the new normal looked very different. The recovery wasn't a simple case of flipping the switch back on. It has been uneven and full of surprises. One of the biggest surprises was the rapid shift in consumer behavior. Stuck at home, people couldn't spend money on services like dining out or traveling. So what did they do? They bought goods, lots of them. People upgraded their homes, bought new electronics for remote work and school, and invested in home fitness equipment. This sudden massive demand for physical goods collided head-on with those disrupted supply chains I mentioned earlier. Factories had been shut down or were operating at reduced capacity. Shipping ports were clogged. There weren't enough shipping containers or truck drivers to move things around the world. The result? A global supply chain crisis. We all felt it. It became harder to buy everything from a new car to a PlayStation. And when you could find things, they were often more expensive. This mismatch between soaring demand and crippled supply was the perfect recipe for something we had unworried about for decades: inflation. Inflation became the next major chapter in this economic story. Suddenly, the cost of everything started to go up: gas, groceries, housing. The stimulus money that had propped up the economy during the shutdown was now chasing too few goods. For a while, central bankers hoped this inflation would be transitory, a temporary blip caused by the reopening frictions. But it proved to be much stickier than anyone anticipated. It was fueled not just by supply chain issues, but also by rising energy prices and a tight labor market. This brings us to the labor market's strange paradox. Even as businesses reopened and were desperate to hire, many struggled to find workers. This was dubbed the Great Resignation. People were reevaluating their relationship with work. Some had health concerns. Others faced childcare challenges, with schools still in flux. Many just decided they didn't want to return to low-wage, high-stress jobs. This gave workers, especially in lower-wage sectors, more leverage than they'd had in years. To attract staff, companies had to offer higher wages and better benefits. While this was great for workers' paychecks, it also added to the inflationary pressures as businesses passed those higher labor costs on to consumers. Faced with persistent high inflation, central banks had to pivot dramatically. They began one-off, most aggressive series of interest rate hikes in modern history. Their goal was to cool down the economy, to reduce demand to bring it back in line with supply. It's a delicate balancing act. Raise rates too little, and inflation runs wild. Raise them too much or too fast, and you risk tipping the economy into a recession. We've been living through this tension for the past couple of years, with everyone watching the economic data, trying to guess what the central banks will do next, and whether they can achieve a soft landing taming inflation without causing a major downturn. So where do we stand now? The recovery is still a work in progress, and it looks different depending on where you are and who you are. Some sectors, like technology and e-commerce, boomed during the pandemic and have continued to thrive. Remote work has become a permanent feature for many companies, changing the landscape of commercial real estate and urban centers. Other sectors, like business travel and downtown restaurants, are still struggling to get back to pre-pandemic levels. The recovery has also been unequal. While many professionals who could work from home saw their savings grow, low-wage workers and service industries faced immense hardship. This pandemic widened the existing gaps between the rich and the poor. The global economic picture remains complex. We're still dealing with the aftershocks. Persistent inflation in some countries, the risk of recession, and ongoing geopolitical events that add another layer of uncertainty. The COVID-19 pandemic wasn't just a temporary disruption. It was a catalyst for profound structural changes in our economy. It accelerated trends like digitization and remote work, and it forced us to confront the fragility of our global supply chains and the importance of our social safety nets. The economic story of the pandemic is far from over. We're still navigating its long-term consequences and learning the lessons from this unprecedented global event. It's a reminder of how interconnected our health and our wealth truly are. Thanks so much for watching. This is a huge topic, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How did the pandemic's economic shifts affect you? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world. See you in the next one.